Hello, everybody. And, well, it's been a while. But, yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? So, I have moved. And I thought, because I really don't have anything else together right now, I thought I'd do a little bit of an off-the-cuff kind of thing. So, I'm gonna be just making a tier list of the mainline Pokemon games for no reason other than I wanted to for whatever reason. So we go from, so we get the S, which is the top tier, A tier, which is, and it goes from A, B, C to haven't played yet. There are some games that do fit into that category, which we will talk about pretty soon, to be fair. And I figure, what way to start than the original Red and Blue? Now that I think about it, I should have sorted these by generations, but oh well, what can you do? Now I have played Red and Blue for the longest time. I actually didn't. For the longest time, I didn't. But I did actually play them 2 years ago into last year. I completed Blue. Now, I can say it was definitely harder to get into the Gen 1 games because I did start with Gen 3, which by then had already implemented changes that at least to me, made the series seem better. Which, I don't know. I guess in terms of that, maybe we put them. I'll put them in the C tier for now. Now, just because a game is in the C tier doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means I'm not likely to go back to it anytime soon. That's mostly what it means. We'll see. Maybe you can go low B, because I think I am going to rearrange this once I'm actually, done. Now, I would put this in the same vein for Pokemon Yellow. Now, this is something I've been debating. Do I just put Yellow alongside Red and Blue? Because there were some things different about Yellow. And the only thing is, I technically haven't played Yellow. I do actually own the Virtual Console copy on my 3DS, I just haven't gotten to it. But, maybe for right now, we'll put it with its Gen 1 compadres there. Excuse me. The next few are the Gen 2 games, the Silver, Gold, and Crystal games. Now, these are the games that have their own special category, obviously. They're going to go under haven't played yet. Or I'm of the thinking that I shouldn't really hold an opinion of something, especially a game, until I actually play for myself. So, right now, I've played none of these. I've technically played Red and Blue, and I sort of maybe technically played Yellow, if you count Let's Go as a Yellow remake, which I guess it technically is. But yeah, that's, yeah, Gen 2 is going to be in the haven't played yet. That doesn't mean it's bad, that doesn't mean, well, I guess that just doesn't mean it's bad. Because again, I haven't played them yet. The next games, for me at least, the next games are the Gen 3 games, which includes the Hoenn games and the Kanto remakes. We might as well start with Ruby and Sapphire, I guess. I'm gonna put Ruby and Sapphire in the B tier at the very least. They were definitely fun games. Really love the Hoenn soundtrack, to be fair. The only main reason it's harder for me to go back to Gen 3 nowadays is because of not owning the original hardware for it anymore. Because I lost that all that time ago. But in that vein, I'm going to put Emerald up top, maybe up in A tier at the very least, because maybe that's just a little personal bias on my part, because that is the first game I actually did beat the Elite Four in, which does help, and it's where I got my love for Swampert, which is actually my favorite Pokemon, who is actually my favorite Pokemon of them all. The Kanto remakes are... Now, I say Emerald was the first game I beat. The first games I actually played were the Kanto remakes in Fire Red and Leaf Green. In terms of those two, I think I put them in B tier, but they're going to be above Ruby and Sapphire. I think I am more likely to go back to these two than I am to Ruby and Sapphire, mostly because if I'm ever to go back to Gen 3, the order I'd probably do it is Emerald, and then going back into Fire Red and Leaf Green, depending on which one I want to do. Because I really actually did like Emerald and some of the changes it made to the Hoenn games, so I kind of like that. I really do. Next up, we got the Gen 4 games, which will include Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I believe those are it. Diamond and Pearl are interesting games for me because around the time of Gen 4 was the time I was getting a little shaky on whether or not I really did like Pokemon still. And these games were not helping that case. I do like the Sinnoh region, but Diamond and Pearl's pacing was just not great in some aspects, especially battle-wise. The plot was maybe a little and I'm not really in it for... I mean, I'm not really into Pokemon for the plot of the games, but just something was a little off-putting to me about it. Platinum at least made things a little bit better, which is why I'm going to put it in the B tier for this generation. But overall, the Sinnoh games I do think are maybe my least favorite of all of them. It could be between it and something else, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to be honest, I think Diamond and Pearl are kind of low on my list in terms of what I want to go back to nowadays. Now, while I haven't played the original Johto games, I did play Heart Gold and Soul Silver when they came out, and I actually really love these games, so I'm actually going to put them in the A tier. It was really nice. It was fun to go for Johto for me for the first time, and I really just love these games. I love the Johto region. Ironically enough, I liked the post-game content of having to get all the legendaries and stuff. I don't know. And going for Kanto again too. That was actually pretty nice too. Now I could judge those merits for Gold and Silver, but I can't judge those on a mechanic level, which is why they're mostly in haven't played yet territory. So we can't really do anything about it. So I'm not really going to do anything about that right now. In terms of what games are next, I guess is what we're going to do. I guess Black and White are up next, aren't they? Alright, cool. Black and White. Gen 5 can be a little divisive to some people, I guess. I don't know. I know people love it. I know some people love it, and I know some people, I think, hate it, maybe? I'm not sure. I just know it's not exactly, I guess it is black and white between when you go by opinions here. Neat. But I think I fall into the category of loving the games. Again, I'm not into the series for the narrative, but these two games did have a plot that really made me think about things in terms of, are the Pokemon happy with trainers? I don't know. This was a thought-provoking game, and it wasn't something I expected from Pokemon. And honestly, these were games that helped solidify my love for Pokemon. Because, again, the Gen 4 games were kind of shaky. I was kind of warming up around the time of Heart Gold Soul Silver, but Gen 5 really put me back put Pokemon back in my good graces, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, these games were the only two to actually get an official sequel, which I think will put them in the A tier. Black 2 and White 2 are very solid games in general. I really do love those games too. They're maybe not on the same level as Black and White, which is why they're going to be up here in S for me. But I did also love these games for what they are. What? Oh, those are next, aren't they? Okay, X and Y. These are the two I am very divisive on. And this, at least for myself, I'm very divisive on these. At the time of X and Y, because they were coming off an extremely high for me on Pokemon for Gen 5. And I was really excited for these games, and around the time of their release was when things were not great in life for me, to say the least. But, I mean, they helped me through that. But I think in the end of the day, they will have a special place in my heart. I don't really see them as the best. I think they're going to be in the C tier. Thanks, Ice Maker. But I think they're going to be in the C tier for me. Mostly because there were just some things that took a step back in X and Y that I didn't like. And I don't know. These games, I'm just not likely to go back to these games anytime soon, I believe. I mean, it doesn't help that my Y copy has been, like, weird lately. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. These are two games I was also really excited for when they came out, because I did want Hoenn remakes. I will say I kind of maybe wanted an Emerald remake instead of a Ruby and Sapphire one, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Because they had this pattern of remaking the original two because of money. So, in terms of these two, I don't think I would put them in C. I think I would put them in low B. Yeah, I think low B sounds about right for me. Because honestly, I don't know. I can't really say if they're better or worse than the original two. Because they are technically remakes. But I don't know. I guess it's up to a coin flip for me on which one I would return to first. I wonder if that case is... I might put Platinum right there, actually. Put it ahead of Ruby and Sapphire. But I really don't know what to say about this, because... I will be honest, I might think of these two games equally. Next up are Sun and Moon. These are two games that I've also had to go back and forth on in terms of how good they are. I will admit that Sun and Moon can definitely be hand-holdy to holdy at the beginning, but I will be honest here. I think I'm going to put them low A, if I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put them in the A tier. I don't think they're better than the Gen 5 games, but it had about the same plot strength to me as maybe Black and White 2 had. And it was a very deep narrative. Some of the characters were really nice. I liked, I don't know if it was the characters I liked or... Well, I really actually liked the Alola region. It was something different. I think that's what it is for me. It was something different. Sun and Moon came with something different in the series, which I think it really needed, especially after what happened with X and Y. Because I think the series was getting a bit tired with the standard formula, and they shook it up a little bit. Deep down, it's pretty much very similar, but it's different enough that it shook it up. The Island Trials were definitely a thing I really liked about these games. The plot was maybe not as good as Black and White, but I think it was good. It was a decent plot. It's something I will definitely say. And I really like the Alola region. I like the look and feel of it. Now, when it comes to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, that is where things get weird. I'm gonna put them... Yeah, we'll go low B on them. Because these games were blatant rehashes of Sun and Moon. It did take away some of the plot, some of the things I liked about Sun and Moon's plot. I didn't like that they took some things away from that. Maybe the one bright side to it was that it did incorporate more Pokemon into the Alola Dex, so there was at least more Pokemon variety here. But at the end of the day, it was just a blatant rehash, and it took away some of the finer points of the plot. Also, if I remember correctly, online was not the best in these games. I guess if there's one thing X and Y did do right, it was Wi-Fi. If I'm gonna be honest. It was how the online was handled. Kinda wish we could go back to those days sometimes, you know? But oh well. Let's go Eevee and Pikachu. These are games that I really don't know how to feel about. 'Cause at the end of the day, they still didn't feel like mainline games to me. But I guess at the end of the day, they were? I don't know. I don't know if you can necessarily say they were better either. Like, I didn't hate them. I'll probably put them along the same level as, Actually, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. That, and then do this, actually. I'm gonna put them at about the same level as the original Gen 1 games, because at the end of the day, I don't know if because at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back to these games, and I think I might feel the same about Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. The reason these games would be here is because I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to those games. Or at least, I'll go back to those games often. I think that's basically what I'm trying to say. Last but not least, maybe, is Sword and Shield. Now, I know these games have been divisive amongst the community, but at the end of the day, at least for me, there are things that I do like about Sword and Shield. And there are definitely things I don't like too, which is why I'm going to put them in the B tier. I do not think that Sword and Shield are the absolute worst of the series. Are there things that could have been refined in the game that definitely... Did the game look like it needed more polish? Yeah, it probably did. But I think something that I'm taking into account is a lot of the time I think we see that Game Freak tries to go it safe when they get into new hardware for the first time. And I know this isn't a point that I made. I think it's a point I saw in another video I saw this week. But really, at the end of the day, it could be possible that Game Freak was just going safe with it. I will also say that the Pokédex is not really affecting my decision making here, because at the end of the day, it didn't really matter to me that the National Dex was gone, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I get the feeling that every Pokemon is someone's favorite. I get that. I sympathize with that a lot, because right now my favorite Swampert's technically not in, I believe. I'd have to check again, but I don't think Swampert's allowed in Galar right now, as of recording this. But am I in a rush to get him? But do I feel like I need him there? Not really. Maybe? I'm not sure. Like, it's not something that I think about every time there's an opportunity to talk about it. It's like, I really don't care. But overall, the rankings. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with this list, if I'm going to be honest. I do maintain that Black and White are probably my favorite Pokemon games of all time. Emerald definitely has a lot of personal bias for me. Heart Gold and Soul Silver were games I really enjoyed and were maybe my favorite games objectively up until Black and White, if I'm going to be honest. I love Black 2 and White 2 because they were sequels to a game I really liked, and I do like them on their own right. Sun and Moon was a refreshing experience. Fire Red, Leaf Green were my first Pokemon experiences in general. Platinum was the highlight of the Sinnoh games. Ruby Sapphire, a bit of an older Emerald, which are good. ORAS, they are remakes of solid games, which I guess makes them kind of solid in their own right. Sword and Shield, first venture into a new platform, definitely has its issues, but also has some very good things about it too. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, rehashes, but rehashing made it dipped its opinion of it. X and Y, Kalos is pretty, but there were definitely things wrong with it that I didn't like. Diamond and Pearl, definitely too slow. Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, maybe something I don't go back to, but was a nice little thing that they did. And the original Kanto games, while they are the building blocks, I don't see myself going back to them anytime soon. As for the Johto games, maybe I'll play them sometime. I don't know. But, I think that's gonna be it. We'll see if this actually goes up, because I actually have no idea. I'm like lying down on my bed. I have my legs hanging off the bed right now, because I really don't know how to record in this room right now. But, I'm hopeful to maybe record tomorrow, because that is going to be my birthday. But we'll see what happens. With that. But I hope you all have a good day, and see you guys in the next video.